this is not an official UFC announcement, but I've seen it all over the place on Twitter, in a way where like you kind of just get a feeling that something is either real or very close to being real if you see it this many times. And that's this, right? And it's a huge announcement about about this season, okay? So the announcement is that the UFC, and let me just actually qualify this. Announcement means it's being shared all over the place on Twitter, right? And if I was going to guess, actually, let me tell you what it is. So the rumor is that it is going to be half veterans that have washed out of the UFC and been cut, and half up-and-coming prospects. I love this idea. I absolutely love this idea. And so you have guys who are potentially championship caliber. They get on a bad run that lasts 18 months, and they wash out of the UFC. They go, they fight, they get their confidence back, and now they could potentially be championship caliber guys, and now they get their chance. And these guys, this is why I love those guys. Or why I love the dynamic is because you have the up-and-comer guys who are inspired, dude. Like, they're like, this is finally, I'm here, I'm going to do it. The phase 1 Conor McGregor guys, right? Now, obviously, he's an extreme example, but I'm talking about that kind of energy. They're on a cloud to the, like, they're the chosen one, dude. They've worked the hardest. They did, like, this is it for them. They made it, and they're going to fulfill the dream, okay? There's that energy. And then there's the other side, the guys who are the veterans who are going to be training and fighting with the proverbial knife at their throat. Like, this is different for them. They know it's all on the line now. An up-and-coming prospect can do the, like, I'm the chosen one thing, and then reality hits, and it's like, okay, whatever, and then they have to change the way that they think, and they can potentially rebuild themselves and then end up in the UFC. The guys who have washed out of the UFC, they've done this ride. They were on the cloud. They were the chosen one. It was all coming together for them, and it all fell apart, and they got cut. And now they had to put their face in the grindstone. They had to grind, work hard, get their skills better, get their confidence back, and now they're getting a second chance, and they know there's no third chance. There is not a third chance for them. They can either make this work, they can rise from the ashes like a phoenix, or it could turn out that it was an actual dream. It was just a dream. It wasn't real. The whole thing wasn't real. It was just something they created in their mind. Their destiny was not real. It was a lie they told themselves. And now that the lie has blown up, they're faced with the rest of their life having no confidence in anything that they feel confident about, because they believed more than anything that was going to happen for them, and it didn't. And so they literally have a razor blade at their throat every single day while they're training, when they fight, all of that. So you have the two sides of the motivation, scale or whatever. It's like those two things are very different. Very different. Inspiring on the destiny, or what are they going to do with a knife against their throat? I love that, dude. So you have the two sides of the motivation, scale or whatever. It's like those two things are very different. Very different. Inspiring on the destiny, or what are they going to do with a knife against their throat? I love that, dude. Now, here's the other thing that I was saying about structuring it is I would imagine, like, I think the way that they proposed it was going to be veterans versus prospects. I don't think they should do that. I think that they should mix them all up. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because as much as you have Conor and you have Chandler, right, which are going to be the two most charismatic coaches that you've ever had on the show together, without a shred of, absolutely without a doubt. Absolutely without a doubt. These are going to be the two best coaches that you've ever, they would be the best coaches individually, and they're on their own show together, okay? You can't build the entire show around the coaches without building the personality of the fighters, of course. And you have to be surgical with who you put on this show, because the upside, like, man, I hadn't even thought about this. If you get on the Ultimate Fighter on this season, do you understand what your potential is? Do you have any idea the opportunity that is going to be in front of you if you are a fighter that ends up on this season? Like, do you understand how big an opportunity this is? Okay? Michael Chandler is a UFC fighter. He is a star. He is an incredible success. He's one of these guys that is like, walk it like you talk it, and look at where it got him, right? Even Chandler, to wrap his brain around the opportunity, it's like you almost have to put it in this way of, it's like I heard him say, he's like, it doesn't even seem real yet. And it's like, let me put it in perspective for you. Nate Diaz made $40,000 for the fight that he had right before he fought Conor. He made $10 million for the fight that he had after the fight with Conor in the rematch. And he's been the biggest star in the UFC since. 40 grand. That's how big of a draw he was. And then since then, he's been the biggest star in the UFC. Chandler's going to be Conor's opposite on Ultimate Fighter in an entire season. If he capitalizes on this opportunity and then he wins, there's no objective metric to where you can even start to measure what his trajectory will be if he capitalizes all the way on this opportunity. Okay? Because of what season it is, because Conor's on the docket, you can walk into the UFC a superstar on day one. And everything comes down to what you do in this fucking 2-month period. 2 months. They're going to film for 2 months. Your whole life is in the balance. Fuck me. I'm so jealous, dude. My point that I was making about mixing them up is the dynamic between the fighters needs to be very interesting on the show. And if you mix them up, then you're going to get a lot of guys who are the veterans that are like, listen, Junior, listen, when you get to the big show, it's a lot different. The young guys are going to be like, oh, you mean like, oh, but you're going to tell me how I should do in the big show when you fucking failed? Like, you got cut, bro. I'm not going to get cut. I'm going to win this and I'm going to win everything. So run along. It is inevitable that conflict will happen if you put them on the same teams. That's why.